All right. I think I got it. You guys there? I think you're there. Yeah, so it looks like OBS with this operating system on the new Macs is having a lot of problems. I don't know what's going on. I had to reinstall it like 5 times. What a pain. How we doing? Welcome back. Yeah, it's when I go over to my mobile setup, my laptop, I get some problems here. Move this camera up a tad. There we go. All right, good morning, guys. How we doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's jump right into it because we're a little bit behind. So we got to jump right into it. All right. Welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good morning. I did not oversleep. I was up at 6 a.m. today. I wish I overslept. I had to go somewhere at 6 a.m. this morning. I am very awake with 4 espresso shots. All right. So, today, interesting day, right? We had some pretty nice upside last week. Some good opportunities up there. But a little bit interesting, right? Because you are approaching some pretty important levels on the upside. So, do I want to short today? Do I want to get aggressive on the downside? No, not really, right? The upside has clearly been the strong movement, right? It's clearly been the strong movement. It's clearly been the move to be trading. Now, do we continue to chase the upside? That's the other thing I'm a little concerned about. There are some levels above that I want to be making sure I pay attention to before I start, continuing to look for upside this week. So there's a few levels above on the QQQ, on the NASDAQ, on the ES, some things to be paying attention to before we, get really aggressive on the upside. On the flip side, there's some really nice pullback levels as well in the future. So I'm walking into today. It's Monday morning, right? We don't have that much information about what's going to happen, right? Monday morning is the first day of the week. I think today is a fantastic day to get a read on the market without risk, right? Get an idea of, okay, is this thing going to continue to rally? Are we going to get another strong week here? What's the tone going to be set today? Or are we going to start to see a little bit of a pullback after that big push last week, right? The tone, we got to get a feel for what it's going to feel, the vibe of the market is this morning on a Monday morning. I think it's worth taking some time, at least I'm going to, because there's a lot of question marks out there, right? Everyone's sort of thinking different things at the moment. You got a big push. Everyone's thinking, okay, are we just going to rally this week? Or, okay, is this the week where we get some pullback? That's the type of thing we need to try to figure out here. And we can't figure that out without letting this market sort of work out a little bit. So let's just jump right into the NASDAQ, guys. That's really where I want to start because we are a little bit behind because of some OBS errors. So let's just jump right into the futures. Let's jump right into some stocks. Let's just jump right into what we really care about here. Let's knock out all the BS in the morning and just sort of get right into it. So here's the NASDAQ futures, right? And so first of all, I think we all are watching this sort of channel, right? I think a lot of people on the 4-hour are watching this channel. I think it's a very valid channel to be paying attention to, right? We can see multiple tests of this channel. You have one here, right? It's pretty legit, right? One here, we have one here, another one there, right? Another one here, right? There is multiple tests of that channel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is going to be the 5th. So the question is, right? The question is, do you get this breakout? Do you get continuation? Are you going to actually start to break out of this 4-hour channel, or are you going to get a pullback? Now, no matter what the answer to that question is, right? No matter what the answer to that question is whether it breaks or rejects, it's pretty easy to understand that your risk reward on upside here is not ideal, right? That is pretty easy to understand, right? Because, okay, hey, we just rallied 7% off the lows. I didn't take a single thing of upside, right? If this is you, you need to think about this twice before trading upside this week. You need to punish yourself in a way, right? It is never going to be your best trading opportunity to come into a week like this after a 7% upside move into supply, into a downtrend, and now start to take upside, right? Even if this market does move higher, is it right, to continue to just try to slam upside? Do you think that the people that are making money in this market were not already long here? We're not already long here. We're maybe even long on Friday, right? These are likely where everyone that's making money in the market, making structured trades and taking proper trades, they're probably long down here, right? And they're taking profits into this push. I don't think I want to be the guy that is now slamming upside, right, into a downtrend after a 7% straight up move on the market. That's just my mindset coming into this Monday morning. Now, of course, right, if this thing starts to rip more and we start to get a break of trend, right, this thing gets over 15.4, right, we start to get some clean upside, then of course I'm going to look for it if this still really pushes. But we don't have that information yet, right? That is information that we don't quite have yet. We are still at pretty much the top side of this downtrend, right? And so that information is not there yet. We're going to have to wait to see if we can gather that information if this thing really wants to start breaking out. So today, right, I'm very cautious at this supply and this. I mean, look at this, guys. It's right there, right? We are right there. So do we get the break? Do we get the move above? Do we start to see a rip? Or, right, is this where you could get some pullback? And even on some pullback here, all right, some pullback here is not bearish, right? Don't get that twisted, right? Any pullback here is definitely not bearish. This could just be the pullback you need for some more upside, right? I would prefer us to get a little pullback, not just go straight up here, because a straight up move here will likely result in a straight down move later, right? I would prefer us to actually move up with some structure rather than just ripping to the upside. That's never good for the market, just to have this market rip straight up. So for me today, I'm going to be watching this 15,230. I think that's a very key level today. You can clearly see 15,230, 15,230, 230, 230, 230 here, right? And then you have this little double top at 15,230. So that is very clear. So we're watching 15,230 supply, which is also lined up perfectly, pretty much perfectly, with a 4-hour downtrending channel, right? So even if I'm wrong here, right? Even if you are so wrong, right? Even if this market goes straight up, just rocket straight up, I still don't think you can be in the mindset of longing, right, into this trend, into this double top supply until it very clearly shows you upside, right? I don't think that is a habit that you want to build as a trader. Like this does not make me comfortable to long. Where do I feel comfortable longing? Right there, right? That's where I want my longs. Or right here, right? This is where I want my longs, right? I don't want my longs at double top supplies. I don't want my longs into 7% upside. It's just not really where I want that long. And so on Friday, right, we took some really nice longs on some pullbacks, right? It's possible intraday. 440 longs on Nvidia, the 219, 200 SMA pullback on Tesla, right? There were some nice pullbacks that provided real opportunities. Jay Price, thank you, brother. Good morning, Jay Price, and some gifted memberships from Jay Price. There he is. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for all the support, Jay. So today, guys, right, sort of to put it all together, 15,230 double top supply. If you get above that, you got to watch that 100 SMA, right? It's right up there around 15.3, and then you have the 15.4. If you get a pullback, I would say watch this 50 SMA first, right around 15.1. If you get under that, look for that pullback to 15.3, right? The previous Thursday highs. That's what I would look for. All right, guys? So 15,230, Friday highs, watch that double top. If you break above Friday highs, you get above that trend, look for that upside possibly towards the 100. If you reject here today, I would assume pullbacks to either the 50 SMA or pullbacks to 1530, right? Those are the two pullbacks level I'd be looking for. And I would not be that aggressive shorting these moves. I would more just want to watch it, understand what's going on, and then see if I could catch pullback longs, right? I still believe that pullback longs could be a decent play in this market, right? That's the trend. We've seen some strong action, but you just don't want to be a chaser in this type of move, right, guys? It's the same thing as chasing downside, right? There's going to be pullbacks and long opportunities. Maybe you miss a day of upside, but I can guarantee you that over a week, over 2 weeks, over a 3-week period, you will likely make more money with less stress and less emotion if you take the pullback longs rather than just chasing every upside that's on this uptrend, right? There will absolutely be pullback long opportunities if this market continues higher. It will absolutely happen. The market does not just go straight up, all right? So I'm going to look for that 15.1 and that 15,030. That's really where I want to see us come back down to. We'll see if that happens. QQQ. All right, so let's start with the 4-hour chart on the QQQ, right? Look at this. We can clearly see the trend, right? And the longs here over the last year, over the last 6 months, the longs here, the longs here, the longs here, the longs here. And do I say it again? The longs here, probably not your best idea, right? If you longed here, not too good. If you longed here, not great. If you long there, maybe you don't trade anymore. If you took a long here, probably a rough last few months. So are we going to change our mindset on what the market has done because this time it's moving higher, right? Or are we going to stick with what the market has shown us in the past, right? That is up to you to decide. Are you going to stick with what the market has shown you in the past, or are you going to be emotional and think that this time, this is the time that it breaks out, right? Oh, it's this time, right? 5th time's a charm. I bet, guys, right? I can bet it, right? No, right? So right now, what do? A little bit cautious, right? Just a little bit cautious on that upside. Not saying it can't break out. Not saying you don't look for that break, right? You still are going to look for it. You're still going to look for, a long above. But do you start to be a little bit more cautious on looking for upside? Probably, right? I would say that's probably the smart bet, right? The guys who longed here, the guys or girls that longed here and sold into this pop made good money, right? The guys or gals that longed here and sold into this pop made some good money, right? Everyone that longed off that NASDAQ 200 SMA last week, right? And squeezed, and we got that squeeze, they're probably sitting pretty nice right now, right? And they're like, all right, let me take some profits up here, right? This was really the push I was looking for, channel low to channel high. Let me be careful now. And then you got the other people that are like, oh, buying calls at the channel highs, right? And then that's sort of where this happens. So a little bit cautious here, right? A little bit cautious here. Let's go ahead and zoom back in. I just wanted to make sure you know that larger term idea. Here's the QQQ. So for me today, I think a pullback to either 366 or 362 are my two favorite pullbacks. You also have 364. So there are some very clear pullback levels on the market, right? Which I like. I like some pullback levels to look for those new long opportunities. So for me, number one would be 366, right? That's my first pullback level. That is this right here, right? If I go to the hourly chart, 366 on the QQQ is right here, right? It's this previous high. So that's going to be the first level I watch. If we move down to 366, do I see support step up, right? If I do, then I'll look to see if there's a long. Now, if it breaks under 366, right, then the next move is to 364. That's Thursday highs. So let me go ahead and zoom in here on the 15-minute, right? So if we get under 366 today, if we can't hold this little demand here, then we're going to move down into 364. So under 366, we go to 364. That's your 50 SMA. That's your Thursday high. If you can't hold this, well, this is, first of all, this is where I'd look for another long opportunity. If you can't hold this, you're coming down into this low here, this 362, right? So some very clear levels to be watching on the QQQ here. I would say, first of all, 366, Then next, 364. 364 is Thursday highs right here. And the 50 SMA, that's probably a pretty clean pullback level, right? The 50 SMA and Thursday highs, that's probably a pretty clean pullback level. There's this 364. And then under that, it's the 362. It's this low from Friday. All right? Those are some levels I'm watching for pullbacks, right? I don't want to long into this channel high. I don't want to long into this 370, 371 supply either. Right? So if I go to the hourly chart, you guys can see right here, you have some pretty major highs up here on the QQQ. Right? You got right here, previous high, previous high, previous high, right? Triple top high around that 370, 371. So I'm not really interested in just slamming longs into a triple top supply high. Right? Where would I rather be long? All right, I'd rather be long into 371, maybe back here. Or I'd rather be long into 371, maybe back at 364, right? Where would I rather be long from to get that move into supply highs? I'd rather be long from here, right? Or from here. I'm not going to long here and hope for like 2 points of upside, right? It just doesn't make any sense. All right, risk reward does not make sense there. So I'm going to look today for some pullbacks, 366, 364, 362. I think those are some nice clean levels to watch. And then, of course, if this thing just rallies out of the gates, right, you're going to have to watch the 370, 371 supply above. All right, hopefully that makes some sense there. I would want to see some pullbacks today, right? Remember that 4-hour chart on the NASDAQ and the QQQ. I think it's very important to remember. That 4-hour chart is definitely a little bit concerning. Here's the ES. I haven't really even looked at the ES 4-hour lately, but I know the there's your ES 4-hour. You still got some space up to that ES channel. Not really quite there as clean as the NASDAQ, but here's the clean level to be watching on the ES here, guys, right? I think you can already probably see it here. Look at this 4-hour level at 44.20, right? Look at this 4-hour level at 44.20 right here. Previous lows. Look at this high, right? This was really the key structure, right? Look how this is such a nice structure. Look at how clear this market structure is here, right? Look at this. You come back up, retest previous lows, make new lows, right? Look how clear that market structure is. So you're coming back into a very major level here at 44.20 on the ES futures. So let me go ahead and zoom in now on the 4-hour chart. All right, so now we can zoom in, right? You can see this 44.20 level back here, back in mid-October, was sort of that tough level that created the downside. We're coming back up, right? Now, so, right, let's think logically for a second. Big upside off the lows, right? Longs down here, likely just soaking in the money, sitting in cash, right? Loving this move, right? Now, you're pushing into 4-hour major supply. Right? If you're a long from down here, what are your thoughts? Probably your thoughts are, hey, right? I don't really want to hold my longs into 44.20. Today's a great day to take some profits, right? That's probably your thought. That's at least what my thought would be if I was long some names down here in the ES 4200 area, right? If I caught this big squeeze, my thoughts are probably, hey, 44.20 is heavy. Let me watch out for that. So, 44.20, right? Big supply above. Let's watch out for that. If we get above that 44.20, that's where I think things can really start to move, right? That would be a really nice potential long opportunity over 44.20. However, here's my mindset for today, right? This is my mindset for the short term today. It's right here. I'm going to zoom in. As long as the ES is over 43.70, I do not want to short this market, right? That's my first thought process. As long as the ES is above this 43.70, which is right here, right? This is a big level, 43.70. You can see these multiple reactions at 43.70. As long as the ES is above this 43.70, I do not want to short this market. Now, you can see what happened at 43.70, right? This sort of 43.70, 43.65 area. You can see what happened here on Friday. We got above. We tried to maintain it. We ended up squeezing above, right? We got to squeeze up, and we're holding above it. So for me, right, I don't want to try to short back into 43.70. I don't think that's a valid idea in the very short term. If we get under that 43.70 level, right, I would maybe look to see if you could lose some steam back into 43.40. However, I'm a little bit concerned, right here. That's a little bit concerning. So I would almost want to keep this as large as this, right? I would almost want to keep your ES level between 43.60 today and 43.70, right? Because I don't really want to short into what we saw on Friday. If you guys actually watch the market, you will remember what this Friday action looked like. Every attempt lower got bought up, right? It kept getting bought up at this 43.60, 43.70 area. It would not break down below it, right? So if we're going to trade back into that level, that is a very sweaty short, right? Right? I'm not going to want to hold shorts into that sweaty area and then potentially get squeezed on again, right? That's just not something I'm interested in. So if I'm going to short anything today, the ES better be under this 43.60 level, right? If you get it under this 43.60 level, if I can start to see this break, maybe there's a little short into the 200 SMA, right? Into 43.40 demand. Now, am I interested in this short, or am I just interested in the long of 43.40, right? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you interested in the scalp short under 43.60 into 43.40, or are you just interested in this, right? Because the real long opportunity in my eyes is right here, right? If I'm going to short 43.60, if I'm going to short under 43.60 today, I better be a profit taker at 43.40, right? Because you are not going to want to be short at Thursday highs and the 200 SMA, right? That is not going to be a very fun time, in my opinion. It's not going to be fun to be holding shorts if we are sort of knocking right into that 200 SMA. That's going to be a tough spot right there. That actually, in my eyes, would potentially be the pullback long that I'd be looking for today. So if the ES breaks under 43.70, 43.60 today, if we start trading into this 200 SMA, I would be very focused on what is going to happen at this 200 SMA here. I think this is very important for the ES. 200 SMA, we got the squeeze above it on Friday. Do we pull back and do we hold it? That's a big question mark, right? That is the main thing that I'm going to try to answer this week is, does the ES look like it wants to maintain above the 200 SMA? And if so, I could possibly see if there's more upside. If not, that's where maybe this thing starts to flip, right? That's where maybe this thing starts to flip. If we get back under this 200, right, and we see something like this, what does this look like? What does that look like, right? Little head and shoulder formation, right? If we pull back and we can't hold above that 200, similar to what we did here, this would absolutely lead to that next, downside move and maybe even further, right? And this thing just sort of comes right back down. So, in my eyes, this 200 SMA is likely the most important thing to be watching this week on everything. I think this is the most important thing to be watching. Does the ES pull back and do buyers step in again? Or does the ES pull back and do the sellers take back over, right? And I think that's going to be decided possibly at this 43.40 level and this 200 SMA. So that's a big watch today, guys. That's something I'd be paying attention to. I think you got to be aware of what happens there. But in the extreme short term, I'd say 43.60, 43.70, and then 43.40, 44.20 supply above. All right? SPY. Let's go out. So, 4-hour chart. Pretty damn clear here, guys, right? Look at the SPY 4-hour. Look at what level you're watching here. Are you going to want to long into the SPY 438 double top supply? Probably not, right? If you're willing to long here, and you are not willing to long on this hold, if you are not willing to long on this hold, if you are not willing to long on Friday on this hold, right, then I don't know what to tell you, right? I was pretty bearish coming into Thursday, but Thursday I learned that the market was strong. I took some longs later Thursday, and Friday was pretty much all call options, right? So we had to flip. We had to stay We have to continue to stay sort of fluid in this market. But now, right now, I think this week could be that perfect week for some, you get your coworkers coming in saying, "Hey man, have you seen the market up this week?" Right? I'm thinking about longing some stuff, right? And they're right. This is where you got to be a little bit careful. You get a little bit too comfortable there. This is when the market likes to humble you. So I'm a little bit cautious now. Do I really want to take longs here into a SPY 438, 440 double top? Right? Do I really want to be long here into this double top on the SPY? Not really. Right? I'm a little bit cautious there. Where would I rather be long? I would rather be long on a pullback into 431, 432. Right? This is that pretty much the same level as that ES200 SMA. I would rather be long on a pullback, see if this pullback holds, right? And then see if we can get that long off that 431, 432, right? So that's pretty much the exact same concept as the ES futures, right? Look at this SPY chart, right? See this previous high, see this previous high, see this big squeeze, right? So can we get this pullback and can we hold as a long? That is the exact same thing as the ES, right? This is the exact same thing we just looked at. Can we get a pullback to the 200 SMA and does it hold for new longs? Or does the 200 SMA reject and do we start to get weakness? That is the same exact look as the SPY at 431. It's the exact same look, right? Do we get a pullback and a hold to 431 for longs? Or does the SPY lose this previous high, right? And do we turn these highs back into rejections? That, in my eyes, is the number one thing to be watching this week. That is like going to decide everything that I do, right? I'm not going to short anything if the ES is above these levels, and I'm not going to long anything if we go back under these levels, right? I'm not going to look long if we get back under 431 on the ES, and I'm not going to short into this level either, right? This is how I'm sort of judging what I'm looking for. I'm making a game plan for myself. I'm making my decisions not based off emotion. I'm trying to build my decisions based off of technical levels on the market, right? So for me, I really don't get that excited to short into the 200. It's probably not that great of an opportunity. Would I be more interested in pullback longs at this point? Yes. Now, if we break under this level, then my decision making needs to change. I need to see if that turns into a rejection for shorts, right? So that's that, guys. I hope that makes sense. I hope building that sort of game plan using these futures levels makes sense. We do not have 1,000 likes. We have 2,100 people here. So less than 50% of people come in here and press the like button. Free information every morning, and you can't press one button. So because of that, you guys know what time it is. It's time for you to watch an ad. We'll see how many people watch the ad. If you guys are new here, if we don't get 1,000 likes by 8:30, we press the ad button. All right, so let's continue. Tesla, right? So what did we do on Tesla? If you guys are part of the group, you saw I long Tesla off this 200 SMA, off this 219 retest. Hey, for now, I'm pretty happy about it, right? Pretty nice gap up, really nice little break and retest. I mean, it doesn't really get any cleaner of a break and retest than this on Tesla, right? It really doesn't. So was I going to go for that? Yeah, I was. Right, here was it in the chat. You guys can see. Tesla, November 10, 225 call. I moved my stop down to the 200 SMA 219, right? As of now, I plan to hold Tesla over the weekend. So I am holding Tesla over the weekend. I'm holding it right now into open. I would hope that it holds up, right? It doesn't look that strong, I'm going to be honest. And I sort of just want to get rid of it at open because, man, it's just that gap up but no continuation. However, right, I am happy with my decision making here because this really does not get any more cleaner. And I also did not want to, right, not take this trade. I'd rather take this trade and lose than not take this trade and see my trade idea work out, right? That's how I personally am as a trader. I would rather take my shot and accept the consequence than be scared to take my shot and watch something work out, right? You can't be scared to take your attempts, your analysis, your shots, right? You cannot be scared to take those shots in the market. Now, if you have no control over the amount of size you take, if your fingers just cannot control themselves and you just start taking wild risk, right? Then maybe you need to consider some of the shots you take, right? But if you have your risk management in control, if you understand how much risk you can take, if you understand the amount of risk you can take in your account, then take your shots, right? Take your shots, understand your analysis, and test it out, right? So 219, right? Previous double top high, break and retest, 219. Very nice gap up today. We'll see if it holds. However, right, this looks pretty heavy up here on Tesla, huh? All right, this looks pretty heavy up here on Tesla. Do I play ARK? How did you know I played ARK? You play ARK too? Where did you see it? Did you see it on my screen or something? Yes, I do play it. My friend got me into playing ARK, and it's one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. It really pisses me off. So how much longer I'll be playing that game, I have no idea. It's a little bit too much stress for my life. I don't really need a game that's stressful like that. But anyways, yeah, it looks like Tesla could get pretty heavy up here, right? I'm long here. I'm long here off this 219, right? I really do like my long entry, break and retest on the hourly. It makes a lot of sense. However, it's looking a little heavy up here, right? 20 SMA, 230, right? A little bit heavy. I would be a little bit careful up into that level today, guys. If you're going to long anything on Tesla, I think it has to be back at 219, right? Or I think over the 230, right? I would not want to be too aggressively long into that 20 SMA and into this really weak gap up, right? This does not look very strong at all. So I would probably only look for a pullback to 219 as your next long opportunity. If this thing sort of gap fills today, I'm probably just going to be a profit taker at open. Because as of right now, this just does not look very strong. So for me, guys, once again, I think a gap fill at 219 could be an interesting long, right? Or I would probably only look to long if this thing gets above 230, 231. Those would probably be my only two long entries on Tesla. Short entries, right? You could look for maybe a pop back into this double top, right? Maybe back into the 20. I think that's possible. Or, right, if you get under the 200, that could be your short entry as well, right? Back towards that 214. So some pretty clear levels. You just have to play them correctly, right? Demand 200 SMA, 219. Some heavy supply up here around 228, 230. All right. Nvidia. I mean, what a beast of a stock. This was the first time I had a little bit of regret in a long time in my trading. I was very, very close to taking longs on Nvidia the day that it broke under 400 and got back above. Right here, I remember the exact 10-minute consolidation period that I was watching. This right here, I was very, very close to taking my shot here. I don't know what made me not do it. I think I just wanted to be a little bit cautious. It was a pretty tough area on Nvidia. I wasn't sure whether Nvidia would actually break out or, ultimately break back down. So I had a little bit of indecision, and that indecision made me, right, miss it, right? Guys, I can't, someone's scamming my Instagram. Guys, at this point, you have to understand that, okay? If you guys get a message if I can't help you anymore with Instagram scams. I can't help you with Instagram scams. I can't help you with other things. My face. Take a picture. This is my face. You probably know where I live. You probably know a lot about me, right? I will never, unless I was a complete moron, I would never show my face on Instagram or YouTube every single morning and then try to ask people for Bitcoin on Instagram, okay? Have some common sense. If you're getting DMs from someone, it is not me, okay? This is me. I'm right here. You probably know where I live. You know about my life. You see my face every morning. If I was in the game of scamming people, I would not be doing this, okay? So if you get a message anywhere online, it's not me. And if you, right, it's okay, TJ. I appreciate you pointing out, but I get these messages a lot. I just hope people have some common sense. That's all. Because I get people messaging me all the time about this. I appreciate you bringing it up, TJ. I'm not coming at you or anything like that. It's just something that's a little annoying because I don't understand how people can't get that yet, right? I am not the one behind these messages. You need to understand that. And if you get messages, please report that. And just please understand, I wish I could do something about it, but I can't, right? Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it. I wish that Instagram or Facebook or whoever would take it more seriously, but they don't. So, unfortunate, but please understand that, guys. Please understand that. It's not me. And if you fall for it, there's not a damn thing I could do. All right? All right, let's continue. So, 440 on Nvidia. Who took that long on Friday, right? We took that long in the Discord on Friday, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was nothing but beauty. So congrats to you guys that took this with us on Friday. We took longs off 440. We talked about that in the live stream on Friday. We said, hey, look for Nvidia to break and hold above 440. It sure as hell did that, and it created just a gorgeous, gorgeous upside. So what do you watch today? 450, right? Pretty clear. Right? 450. So, you guys can see right here, 450. That's what I'd be looking for. If you get a pullback to 450 today, I will be all eyes on potential longs. Right? I will be all eyes on potential longs. If we get this pullback to 450, right? I will be all eyes on whether this can be a long opportunity on Nvidia. That is a very interesting level. That was a previous supply, right? You can see right here on the hourly. This was a previous high and previous low at 450. If we hold this 450 level, then I am absolutely looking for another long opportunity into these highs at 460, 462. Now, if we break back under 450, right, then that is where you have to be a little bit concerned for maybe a larger pullback into 440. So really, you're just playing in tens here on Nvidia, which I really like. The only trades you take are at the 10s, right? 460, 450, 440, right? That's where you're trading Nvidia. You're either longing 450 on a hold, you're shorting under 450, right, for a move into 440, you're longing 440 for a move into 450, you're longing above 450 again for a move into 460, right? You're playing off the 10s. And so that makes it pretty easy, right? So that's what I'm watching today. I'm not going to long Nvidia at 454. I'm not going to short Nvidia at 457.46543, right? I'm just going to play 450, right? Or 440 or 460. And that's it, right? Very easy. We see the reactions at those levels, right? And that's what we look for. So today, let's look to see, does Nvidia pull back to our 450, right? Pretty close to it. We maybe 451, 450.50, right? But at least somewhere in this area, somewhere at these previous lows, do we get this pullback? Do we get this hold? And can we long it off that? That would be sexy today, right? That would be sexy. So let's look for that. I would be a little bit cautious into 460, right? Just please make sure you understand what I'm talking about here at 460, right? You can see right here, previous major high at 460. So please be careful of that one. The only other level I would watch today is previous day highs. That's the only other level I would consider watching, okay? I will say that is something you could consider, but I'm a little bit less confident in this high here than I would be at 450, right? I'm a little bit more confident of a long here at the 450, 449 area than I am trying to long the 453, right? Previous day high. So that's the level I'm looking for today. Let's see what happens. Jay Price, I gifted you some Bitcoin Instagram. Thanks, man. Oh, man. All right. So what do I want to look at next? I want to look at AMD with you guys. What am I looking at on AMD here? I think I want to show you the 111 level. Right? Here's 111 on AMD. We've seen 111 double top here. Very clear, right? 111, 111. Double top high on AMD on the 4-hour chart. Now, we're above it. Right? We're above it. So what are we looking for? I would want to see if AMD can pull back to 111 and can it hold, right? That's what I want to look for in AMD. Can we get a pullback to the double top high? And does it hold as support? And if so, is that create a new long opportunity? If AMD gets back under 111, then can it turn into a rejection and can we play downside? Right? That's what I'm going to look for in AMD. Really just going to watch this 111 level, see what happens there today. We had a little bit of struggle there on Friday, but ultimately squeezed above it. So if we come back into this level, I want to see if a hold steps in, or do we get weak under it, and does that set up maybe a short, maybe back into this 100 SMA. So today, all eyes on 111 for me on AMD. All right. Meta. Very interesting chart on Meta. It's still having a lot of problems here around this 320, right? Meta's having some pretty decent heavy action over here at this 320 level. So let me go into the 1 hour chart. We can see on Friday, not much action to the upside. And Thursday was a nasty 320 rejection. So Meta's sort of stuck here. So I would just watch this 320. I think that's the key level to watch. 320, 320, 320, right? And then demand very clearly 310, okay? So as of right now, Meta's just in a little 10-point range, right? You're in a little 10-point range on Meta. But you can take this, you can make this, you can take this range to your, this could be opportunity for you. So I would look for 320 supply. I'd look for 310 demand. I'd look for break and holds over 320. I'd look for break and holds under 310, right? Very clear, right? So that's really what it looks clean, right? When you have these channels, this is what you look for. Watch for that 320 supply today. Very nice rejection on Thursday. It's possible you get that again. That could be a nice trade today. And it's also possible you get maybe a downside move. You get a hold of that previous high, previous low at 310, and then maybe there's a long. I would say it's an okay trade, right? It wasn't that great on Friday. You can see, look at this Friday shit show. I don't love that, but maybe it wakes up. So Meta today, I would look for 320, right? Or, of course, you can look for the break and hold above for that long. That's also very possible. But I think the 320 level is going to decide a lot. That's what I would be watching on Meta here. Amazon 140, it's still stuck below, which is interesting, right? Check out this Amazon 140 level. So Amazon 140, right here, previous high, previous high. We've been talking about this 140 level all week. Right, we've been talking about this 140 level all week, and you can see it's just sort of slowly just, meandering into that level. It's a little bit strange. It's a little bit strange. So, do we actually get the break? Right, are we going to get the break out above 140? Right, are we going to get a break out of 140 on Amazon? Are we going to get this, hold above and along? Or are we going to continue to sort of struggle here and maybe ultimately fail this 140 supply? That's something I'm going to be very closely watching this week. I think this is a major level on Amazon. We can clearly see the action sort of slowing down here, right? It's sort of stalling on this upside. Do we get the breakout? Do we get the squeeze over 140? Or do we get that pullback maybe back towards that 137? 140 Amazon, I think a big level to watch this week. 140, yeah. All right, next one, Google. The 100 SMA and 130. I like this chart a lot. Let me go to the 30-minute. I like this chart. This is a nice little stair step, and this could be a nice, easy trade, I think. So here's Google, right? And we can see 130 right here. 130, big level. Next, 130, top, right? 130, 130. Rejection 130, nice downside. Now, on Friday, we got above 130. We held above it, and we held above the 100 SMA. That's a very clean hold above the 100 SMA. If you hold above the 100 and 130 today, I would look for long opportunities. Right? This could be a nice long into your next supply, which is up at 132. Right? I like this idea. It's a previous low. It's a previous high. It's the 100 SMA, and it's a clean psychological 130 level. If you get a solid hold over 130 today, I think that is a very nice hold level for a push into the next supply, which is these highs over here, right, at 132. So, very interested in that today. That's something I definitely will be watching. If you break under 130, then I also will be looking for that downside, right? Both ways. Either way, 130, big level on Google, definitely a trade that I'll be watching. All right? The last thing I'm going to leave you with, guys, is Apple. And that is because Apple is pretty much the same chart as the QQQ, as the NASDAQ. It is a 4-hour downtrending channel since July of this year. It has done nothing but been in this large-term downtrend since July of this year. Where are you on Apple? You're right back at the top of the channel, which is the exact same thing as the NASDAQ, and it is the exact same thing as the QQQ. So you have the QQQ, the NASDAQ, and Apple all sitting at pretty much the exact same inflection point. What happens here is going to be probably key for maybe the end of the year, right? The next few months. Do we see the strength to break out of this trend, right? Do we get that squeeze out of this trend on Apple, on the Qs? Or, right, is this just another fade back towards channel lows, right? That's the big question. It is too early this week to be making guesses, right? There is no reason to be guessing. So do not ask me what's going to happen at this channel, okay? I don't know. It's Monday morning, right? I just woke up about 4 hours ago. You just woke up, I don't know how long ago. The market just started to, the juice is just starting to flow in, right? It's just starting to trickle in. So what do? We watch it today. We get an idea of what the price action tells us. We don't try to guess. We look to see if supply is heavy today. Let's watch that price action. Am I seeing a lot of sellers? Is it really tough to get above? Or, right, what do we see today? Do we see a big squeeze? Are we getting more buyers stepping in? Today's the day we gather some information, right? We don't try to guess what's going to happen here. Let's gather some information. Let's watch the price action. Let's make structured trades. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you did, please press that like button before you head out. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new here. I appreciate everyone that supports. Yeah, that's it. What do I do all morning? I chill. I wake up, I look at charts, I get ready. Thank you guys again. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. I will not, no live stream on Wednesday, okay? No live stream on Wednesday. I apologize, but there is something that I am going to do, and I want to do it, and I'm taking the day off. So, no live stream on Wednesday. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see what we're doing on Wednesday. But yeah, so Wednesday is a great day to put all the work that I do and all the education that we provide it's the good day to put it all to work, right? Put it all to work. See what you can do, right? See what you can do in the morning. Try to do that same analysis, right? Try to do that same morning live stream type analysis. Go through the NASDAQ by yourself. Go through your individual stocks by yourself, right? Do that same thing by yourself, right? Try to be self-sufficient in that way, right? That'll be a great day to test it. So no live stream Wednesday, but I'll be back on Thursday. And yeah, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Part-timer, I don't give a shit what you say, man. You think I care? All right, see ya.